Word on this. Awesome. Well, good afternoon here for those of you here on the East Coast. Holly Highfield here. And we are kicking off week number 2 of our Lunch and Learn series focused on the 4 pillars of belief here at LifeVantage. And I am overjoyed with our special guest that we have here today. But just as a quick reminder, in case you missed last week, the first week, that's okay. We talked about the belief in our industry, the network marketing profession. We had an incredible guest speaker, Bob Wagner, actually, who has been in the industry for almost 30 years now, talk to the power of network marketing and how you should be proud and loud to be a part of this profession. If you did not see that, that's all right. There is a replay. It is available in our Facebook group. I also emailed it out, and you can certainly reach out and we will provide you that replay offhand as well. But let's get to today, okay? So I'm going to share with you real quickly here. I got some, all right. I'm really pumped. I really am. So, all right. So first and foremost, today we are going to be talking about building your belief here in LifeVantage as it relates to our products. Now, how many of you, and you can just drop it in the chat, say me, that you join LifeVantage because of the products? You got excited about the products. Maybe you were someone that you know had a personal experience with these products, and you couldn't not be without these products, right? That's exactly. I see some people dropping there in the chat, me, right? And the reality is that most folks, they buy into the product before buying into the business. And so I'm really excited because today we have a special guest speaker who is going to dive more into that. However, this is one thing that I want you to think about and write this down. If you don't have a pen and paper, I want you to make sure you have a pen and paper handy. You're going to want to take down some of these things that our guest speaker is going to be sharing with you today. But as it relates to your belief in our products, I want you to write this down. On a scale of 1 to 10, how strong is your belief in our LifeVantage products? I think it's a legitimate question. You're probably like, oh, yeah, I believe in it. No. How much do you truly believe? Is your belief bulletproof? Okay. If someone starts reaching out to you and trying to poke holes in what it is that we have from a product perspective, do you back down? Or do you start digging in and you have posture and confidence and you stand behind what we have? So ask, and if it's not, I want you to write down, what do you think is holding you back? Okay, and I'm going to revisit this question then at the end of today's event. Okay, and so again, proper disclosures. Every results may vary as we're all unique and different. I've got the disclosure up here. I'm not exactly sure what our guest speaker may or may not share today, so I just want to make sure I put that disclosure up there. Let's be honest. This works if you work, right? But everybody's journey is a little bit different. So we always want to keep that in mind and be respectful of that. So without further ado, our special guest today, the doctor is in the house. I'm so pumped. I really am. I'm really overjoyed. Elite Pro 9, Dr. Dondee Nettles. Brian and I have had the pleasure of getting to know him and his incredible wife, Marcy, for years now. And each time that we get to spend more time with them, we are beyond humbled in everything it is that they have to offer, their views on life, their views on faith, family, this business, their perseverance, so many wonderful things I could say about these individuals. But Dr. Dondee Nettles, right? A little bit about him. Former family wellness chiropractor with the 4th largest practice in Arizona. Now, this practice specialized in posture correction through neurological rehabilitation and balance and was it precipitation? I'll let you go ahead and rephrase that one. Obviously, I am not a doctor, right? Dr. Dondee Nettles saw anywhere from 350 to 500 patients a week. Can you imagine? Just wow. In addition to that, he was an AM talk radio host. Man, so this guy is articulate. He knows how to talk. He has such an enthusiasm and energy behind his words. So you're going to want to take notes. Now, obviously, him and his beautiful wife, Marcy, currently live in Arizona. They have a blended, gorgeous family with 4 kids and 3 grandkids, one of which was most recently a new addition. So happy for you guys. And now he's a home-based global entrepreneur. All right, podcaster. He's a present dad, a present parent who's passionate about equipping and elevating and empowering families to create a global legacy and achieve their dreams. So, without further ado, I am going to stop my share, and I want to make sure that I give you, Dondee, you're all who can share. All right. And you should be able to go ahead and share. I am going to give you the floor, Dr. Dondee Nettles.
Holly, thank you so much. It's an absolute honor and privilege to be able to speak to your team, Team Legacy. You guys, I don't know whether you know it or not, and I'm pretty sure that you do. But if you didn't understand the caliber and quality of 1, leadership, 2, servant heart, and 3, just genuinely awesome human beings with Holly and Brian Highfield, you guys are tremendously blessed. And anytime they ever ask me to do a favor for them, for their team, I will show up, hands raised, double hands, pick me, because I love to give back to these guys. So thank you, Holly, for that introduction. And the word you were the word you were trying to pronounce is proprioception. And what it's just a big medical term for balance and coordination in your body. So if you've ever seen somebody go through a field sobriety test or count backwards from 10 or stick your fingers out and touch your nose, they're measuring proprioception. So it was my specific way as a chiropractor. I didn't treat back pain. I treated the whole person. And if their brain and body are communicating, and the best way to know how effectively or non-effectively they can do that, I mean, this is just, I would have patients just close their eyes, lean their head back, put their arms out, and see if they started to lose their balance. And if they started to lose their balance, their proprioception is off. And that's without alcohol. Most of my patients didn't come into my office drunk. So that was just letting them know that I knew they needed help. And I don't claim to be a great chiropractor. I was very skilled in what I did, but I had a very unique approach. I looked at the entire person and balance from brain to body. And when it was out of balance, we simply put it back in balance. And that's why it caught on. It was very popular. People got incredible results. And the overarching theme of it was to inspire and empower my patients. Actually, I didn't call them patients. I call them valiants, because this is an interesting story. When I was in chiropractic college, about a year away from graduating, at 1 o'clock in the morning, studying in the library by myself, the janitor came over and we just started this conversation. And he said, "So what does the word doctor actually mean?" And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm a year away from becoming one, and I don't even know the meaning of the word. That's a great question. I'm pretty sure in this library, we could find a book that would give us the answer. So I found this dictionary that had the Latin origins of the word doctor, and it meant to teach. And from a patient's perspective, I had never had a doctor that ever taught me anything other than patience. While that I was on time and they were not, I'm waiting in the room waiting for them, and they're not coming in, and I see them for 30 seconds and they give me a paper and I go to the pharmacy and fill it. That was my relationship with doctors. And I've never got taught anything except patience. And I thought, when I go into practice, I'm going to teach my patients how to be self-aware, how to be supportive of themselves, and how to be their own health advocate so they don't need me, to educate them and empower them. And that was what I set out to do from that very moment. But I thought, as I'm sitting there, I'm like, well, I know what the word doctor means now. What does the word patient mean? And I looked up the origins of patient. In the Latin, it means one who comes to suffer. And I thought, what a stupid definition for people who go to doctor. You shouldn't suffer. You should come to be self-sufficient. So I looked up the words self-sufficient, and the word was valiant. So I use the word patience because it's a word that people recognize. They don't understand valiance. It was a really crappy car back in the day, but a valiant is someone who comes to be self-sufficient. So thank you, Holly, for your invitation. I'm hoping that I can share in the next 25 to 30 minutes together your ability to be self-sufficient by having a firm understanding, not necessarily in our individual products, because I'm not going to get into specific products per se. I'm not going to really get into ingredients and why do we have this and that and have that conversation. I'm going to have the conversation, why? Why do we have these kinds of products? And more importantly, why now? And I'm hoping that by the time that I'm done sharing the information that I prepared to share with you guys today, that you have a deeper understanding, one, not only of what your independent distributor number at LifeVantage means to you, but where you sit in the whole grand scheme of things on what the world is looking for. In other words, what is the demand and who has the supply to fulfill that demand? And I'll hopefully, if I do what I want to do, that are what I've set out to do, and the information that I've created, you guys will have a much deeper appreciation for who LifeVantage is, who you are as a member of LifeVantage, who Team Legacy and who your leaders are, because we are sitting in an incredible historic opportunity. Because here's something I know, whether you think whether we're still in COVID, in your opinion, coming out of it, whatever the case may be, whatever your definition of the past 2 years is, what I can guarantee you with absolute certainty is right now, there are more people on planet Earth that are firmly aware of the limitations of their own health, because they may have lost people that did not have a healthy immune system, or they had other, what they call convoluting factors, or other comorbidities is the term you've probably heard. But there's also, in the same world, in the same population, at the very same time, there's more people that are firmly aware of their financial limitations. Because what was determined essential, what was determined non-essential? Did they lose their jobs? Did they have to restructure? Did they have to go do something else? We have the solution to both of those things. We literally have the recipe for the most amazing product offering out there to optimize human wellness at the DNA level. And we have the most incredible business opportunity to empower people to live and build life on their own terms, without having to ask for permission to take a vacation, without have to worrying about somebody less qualified getting a promotion over you because their skin was the right color or their gender was the right appropriate to whoever the leaders are. And I don't want this to be at all a political discussion, but a reality discussion of what the world is, what the people in the world want, and where we sit to provide solutions to those things that people want. So I'm going to see if I can share my screen here. Oops. What did I do here? Sorry, guys, please give me some patience. Give me some grace.
No. Oh, and one thing I think I failed to actually mention, and a little plug, I guess, as well for you, if you want to mention it, is Dr. Dondee actually also has a podcast. He is a podcaster. Actually, both him and Marcy have their own podcasts, and both of them are very different in their own way, but they are phenomenal. The stories, the insight, the connections, the inspiration. And again, he's all about education. So don't be afraid to, if you are into podcasts and you're always looking for something new and different to tune into, then check it out. Go ahead and check out Dondee's podcast. It's showing.
Thank you for that plug. I appreciate that.
Showing up big. Is that right? Showing up big.
Showing up big is mine. Yeah, we're actually putting episodes. We haven't had an episode in over 2.5 years because it just kind of took a detour, and helping Marcy with hers, we did a joint one together. But I'm reformulating it, and we've got some episodes recorded. We're going to be releasing them soon. But what I'm going to do briefly, Holly, here is I want to share my screen. Tell me one if you can share it, because once I shared my screen, I could see it. I'm not sure if you did, but once I shared my screen, I couldn't see you guys anymore. So I want to make sure you're seeing everything that I'm seeing.
Okay. Because so far we're not seeing anything on our
And
end.
now, nor am I.
Let me
Okay.
see here. You definitely have rights. I'm showing
So it
you.
has let me check advanced.
Okay.
It doesn't look like it's giving me the ability to share my PowerPoint.
All right, let me see here. Go ahead and try again. Or if you, well, that kind of stinks. I was gonna say you could try emailing it to me, but I don't know, depending on the size, I might have to.
It's not that big.
Oh, okay. I should be able to like pop that up real
Let me
quick.
check. Yeah, it's giving me the ability to share my desktop, but nothing on the desktop that I click on is actually manifesting. So let me take a quick detour. And what's your email address?
It's hbhighfield@yahoo.com. So I hope you all
HB Highfield at yahoo.com.
at yahoo.com. Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me go escape here and let me go send it to you.
And again, as you're sending that through, and I apologize for again, we love technology, but sometimes it doesn't always want to play nice. It's a Monday, maybe. As I go to pull that up, you're certainly welcome to kind of dive into any other specific thoughts that you have here too. Let me see here. Let me close out this that I have. Go to my. Yeah, I hope everyone had themselves a nice Easter weekend. It's very low key for us. Let me see here. Dun, dun, dun. And I don't know if you were going to mention this, but I guess as we're trying to bide some time here, I don't know if you guys know this, but there is a new study out on NAD. Actually, Brian did talk about that in his Pro Up 1, 2, 3 training. That was only about 20 minutes of training. So you can go back and watch the replay or watch the live in the Facebook group as well. But it's very exciting. It's kind of cool because it's linked to a question that I've gotten on several occasions from folks. And, we always have to be mindful when people start asking us specific things that they have going on medically. We're not here to diagnose anybody for that perspective. But again, a brand new study about specific to NAD, which is pretty powerful. I think you guys will find it pretty exciting. Oh, something's happening.
Come through?
Well, I just see your name now. Before it was, I could see you, and now we're just seeing your name. So let me see here. I just keep refreshing. I haven't had your email come through yet, but I'm going to check my, oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay. Let me see if it'll let me pull this up. Woo. I mean, you can keep trying too, if for some reason at some point it, there we go. We're downloading. Oh yeah, this will pop up here in no time.
Usually the only thing that I see in conversion is maybe I might have some fonts that are different than you have. So it may look a little wonky, but we can walk through it.
Yeah, we can totally walk through it. All right, just keep me, thumbs up or do something. I don't know. Just let me know when you want to change your screens. So,
okay.
All right. So I'm going to now share my screen.
And while you're uploading that, I want to just kind of give, again, the preface is that I'm not really going to go into products or ingredients in products. I'll talk about them generally speaking, but more importantly, why do we consider ourselves a biohacking company? Why is nutrigenomics our product offering of choice? Why are we not doing other kinds of products out there? And I'm going to hopefully answer those questions for you. And one of the things also, and I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys, Holly, but as of January, I was nominated to the Scientific Advisory Board. So for the first time in my history at LifeVantage, I'm going to be involved in product formulation, questions, sourcing, things of that nature. And it's kind of in my wheelhouse. I've been on the compliance committee before. I've been on the field advisory board before. I've been on ethics committees before with corporate and legal questions and working with the legal team. But this is the first time I've been on the product side of this. And we are, as a company, I can't divulge too much information because if I did, they'd kill me because I signed NDAs on this. But the company, with our new chief marketing officer, Julie Boyster, who is an absolute genius in the field of marketing, has really, and sometimes it takes somebody from an outside perspective to come into a very seasoned company that has a seasoned message to see, one, the weaknesses in it, and two, where you can advance the message or simplify the message. So there's going to be some changing in some of the phrases that we use. And I think they're going to much better enhance our ability to really capture the audience of people, what we are, who we are, why we do what we do. So just a little background on that. That should just keep, and this is all going to be unveiled at Activate 2022. So if you haven't yet made plans to attend that one-off event, we've never in the history of the company ever had an event like this. This is Julie Boyster's masterpiece, I would call it. If you haven't made plans to get there, please do, because you will have a massive, massive dose of FOMO if you don't. So that's all I'm going to say about that. But where some of the, well, everything that I previously mentioned in kind of coding it, you're going to see the real manifestation of it at Activate 2020. It's going to be the unveiling of everything that that team has been putting together. So is it, can you do it, Holly, or is it coming around?
Oh, do you not see it? So I'm literally showing, I can see it right now. I'll stop share again and I'll go ahead and reshare. This is so strange.
I saw an email.
No, yeah, like let's see here. Let me let's try this again. You see it now?
There we go. Now I can see it. Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm clicking on everything just to see what works. All right.
Awesome. So yeah, this is the title slide here. So the future of human health now in this nutrigenomic space. And if you look at the word nutrigenomics, whether or not you are familiar with it or not, it's a combination word. Nutrition is the first 5 letters, or nutrients, and genomics, the last, what is that? 8 letters. Or 7, or however many it is. I don't want to count on the fly like that. So nutrigenomics, it's how your genes, how your DNA, literally how the very building blocks of who you are as a person is influenced, manipulated is probably the word that, because that's literally what we're doing, but not a manipulation in a negative connotation, in a very, very positive connotation. Let's call it maybe equipping. But how do nutrients, nutrition, natural compounds affect your genes? That's the whole study of genomics. And why do we care about nutrigenomics? The genomics part of it. Why is it nutrigenomics? Because it literally affects our genes. It literally affects the very atoms that make up the genes, that make up the cells, that make up the organs, that make up the systems that make up you. And so this is all of us. Now, obviously this is a male gender here, but imagine all of you are at this crossroads. We now have the ability to go left or go right. And I want this not to be an impulsive decision. I want this to be an educated decision for all of you based on 1, your understanding, 2, your passions, and 3, the ability to affect other people by your decision, because some people will follow you because they're observing you. Other people will follow you because they're influenced by you. They want to do what you do. And other people will follow you because you're making a massive difference. So if you look at the path to genetic health, you've got the left path, pharmacogenomic drugs to transform medicine, or the right path, nutrigenomic activators to transform human health. So we just now, as a company, as individuals of LifeVantage, look at the objectives. Are we trying to transform medicine, or are we trying to transform human health? That's why nutrigenomics for us is a better possibility or a better option here, but we want it to be an educated option, and realizing that choices have consequences. Now, before I ask Holly to go to the next slide, I want to ask, is there benefit to the path on the left? Do we know people that have diseases? Yes or yes. Do we know people that die of those diseases? Yes or yes. Do we want to avoid these diseases that people that we know are dying from? Yes or yes. So I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm not saying it's the wrong choice. I'm saying it's just not the choice that LifeVantage representatives and distributors and a company objective, that's not the choice we're making. But there is a very large body of people, organizations, companies, movements, if you will, that do make that choice. And here's the thing that I will just tell you positively. I don't have cancer. I don't have heart disease. But if I ever develop those things, because it is possible, I try to, at best, live my life genetically efficient so that I'm not worried about those things. But if the unforeseen happens and I get one of those things or any other disease that becomes terminal, I want to make sure there's people out there with my best interest in mind that are looking at the way to transform medicine so it has a better impact on me. That's just not the choice that LifeVantage has chosen. And I'll get into why, but it's a choice that is being made nonetheless. So go ahead, next slide, Holly. So pharmacogenomics, let's define this word. What is it? Pharmacogenomics is the study of how genes affect a person's response to drugs. So I'm going to read that again because it's worth doubling and mentioning twice. Pharmacogenomics is the study of how genes affect a person's response to drugs. So the entire approach here is to optimize your gene's ability to respond to drugs. Here's the limiting factor. You have to have a reason to respond to drugs in order for pharmacogenomics to even enter the conversation, meaning you must have or are starting to develop a disease. So we're talking about a group of people that are not well. They're not trying to get well. That's not the objective of pharmacogenomics. The objective is to enhance and study how genes are affected by drugs. So not to get them well, to allow them to have less symptoms and live more comfortably. That is the total objective, or the 30,000-foot view of pharmacogenomics. And this relatively new field combines pharmacology, the science of drugs, and genomics, the study of genes and their functions, to develop effective, safe medications and doses that will be tailored to a person's genetic makeup. Now, if you look at that, if you have cancer, you have heart disease, you have diabetes, you have dementia, you have Alzheimer's, whatever it is that we can call a physical ailment that somebody may suffer with, it is in ours and their best interest to know as much about the body as possible, to realize how can we make these interventions more effective. In other words, help this person with these diseases, most of them progressive, to have less symptoms and therefore a higher caliber of life. Though and here's really the overarching reality, most people that die of these diseases are being treated for them when they die. So they weren't cured of their cancer and then they died of natural consequences. They died of cancer, though they were being treated for it. That, if you think about it, that's the limitation of this approach. They're not curing people. They're allowing them to die with what they're being treated for, but maybe more comfortably. And again, if I have one of these things, I'd rather be more comfortable, but ultimately I'd rather never get it in the first place. That's the other option. That's the nutrigenomics part of it. So how are we as people educated or made aware of this intent? Obviously, magazines, cover stories of magazines are extremely effective at this. So if you look at National Geographic, and I think this one is slightly out of, is it in your sequence of slides? Is this the next one, Heidi? Or did we jump around a little bit?
Nope, that's showing as the next one. So it goes from the
Okay.
pharmacogenetics
Can
over
you go to the Google one?
this
There
one?
we go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
they're
So
just swapped. Yeah, they're just swapped.
okay, so if you look at Time Magazine, Google, it says, can Google solve death? The search giant is launching a venture to extend the human lifespan. Now, here's really the approach of this. This is from September of 2013, so almost 9 years ago. And then the magazine to the right, Discover, it's kind of a scientific journal for wannabe scientists and people that really want to stay up on scientific things. The cover story, The Science of Aging, does DNA hold the secrets to longevity? So we know that it does. This is the news way of getting enough information, one, to pique our curiosity, but two, not to allow us to be experts, just to have enough information to be dangerous, or a limited amount of information to have us want to make a choice. Now, why is the Google one so important? Because in September, and I'll show you the press release, on September 18th of 2013, to be specific, Google executives, Apple executives, and Genentech executives all collaborated, and they started a company called Calico Labs. And go ahead and go to the next slide, and it's kind of timing for this. Go to the next one. It actually shows a press release. I'm hoping you got the right slides. There we go. Okay, so this is, again, September 18th of 2013 in the Silicon Valley, Northern California. We're hearing all about the Silicon Valley and have for probably 4 decades. It was the .com capital of the world. Well, interestingly enough, it's now the biotech capital of the world, because a lot of these venture capitalists that made millions and millions, even billions of dollars early in the .com are now changing where they're investing their money, and they're doing things like what Google, Apple, and Genentech did. They started Calico Labs. What does Calico Labs do, or what is their intention? Read that first line there. It says, Google today announced Calico, a new company that will focus on health and well-being, in particular, the challenge of aging and associated diseases. So the interesting thing about this, what is their ultimate objective? They're going, the entire approach is pharmaceuticals to allow people to respond better to pharmaceutical drugs, and in that better response, allow them to live longer. But here's the reality. They're living longer with a disease. They're not living longer well. Now, I'm glad this is available. I'm glad Google and Apple and these big high-tech billionaire companies that are meeting now with big pharma and creating their own venture, I'm glad they're doing it. But here's really the reality. After billions and billions and billions of dollars spent, they haven't had a single product to market. So in almost 9 years, Calico Labs has 0 products to market. Now that who's their competitors? Is that good? Is that bad? I don't know. I just know the reality. So go ahead. Next slide. That was perfect, Holly. So this now has become a financial equation, because if you ask yourself, why would Google, an information company, why would Apple, a technology company, pair with Genentech, a genetics company? Because it's profitable when in fact they do bring products to market. How do we know? Well, look at The Economist. Ask yourself, The Economist is a financial journal. Why would they have as the cover story of their financial journal something that's not financial? Unless it was. Cheating death, the science that can extend your lifespan. Well, that science that can extend your lifespan is incredibly powerful. Investors in business, investors in up and coming companies, investors in groundbreaking technology read The Economist. It's their introduction to this new field of study, which is pharmacogenomics. We'll look at Bloomberg Business Week, another financial journal, a business journal, cover story, the forever pill, inside Novartis's quest for the world's first anti-aging drug. Well, guess what? Novartis to date has 0 products to market, but their intention is there. And why am I giving you this background? Because when big tech, big pharma, and big business get in business with genetic intervention strategies, why do they do it? Because it's profitable. Why is it profitable? Because there's a massive and every year growing population of people that are moving further and further away from health and deeper into disease, and to give them drugs that are patented, that are protected, that they can charge whatever they want. It's a very profitable venture. Now, I'm not saying it's not altruistic. I'm not saying that people won't benefit from it, but that's why this has become not just a health discussion, but a financial discussion, because of the potential profits involved. So that is what the underlying current is. Well, here's something interesting. In January of this year, this is brand new, literally not even 4 months old. Altos Labs, with the goal to transform medicine through cellular rejuvenation programming. Read that again. What is Altos Labs about? And it's altoslabs.com. I encourage you to go look at it. I encourage you to go look at calicolabs.com. Look at their mission statements, read their vision. What are they trying to do? It's really summed up perfectly in one sentence here: to transform medicine through cellular rejuvenation, not to transform human health through cellular rejuvenation, to transform medicine. Why? Because medicine for sales to people who need cellular rejuvenation is profitable. Transforming health so that people don't need these drugs is not profitable. Again, not saying there's any other or anything other than an altruistic approach here, because there's people that have diseases, they deserve to live longer and they deserve to be more comfortable. So it's an open opportunity, but really this is interesting and fascinating. It's even more fascinating when you find out who's behind it. So go ahead and click the next 2. So guess who started Altos Labs? You may know the guy. His name's Jeff Bezos. He is, between him and Bill Gates and Elon Musk, they go back and forth first position on who is the wealthiest person in the world. So again, why would Jeff Bezos spend how much? $3 billion in January of this year to start Altos Labs with the goal to transform medicine through cellular rejuvenation? Why? Because the richest man in the world knows about opportunity, and he's investing in more opportunity. So again, not saying it's good, bad, or indifferent. It is what people want. It is what is very profitable. And there is a growing population of people out there that do have diseases, because they're not, and I repeat, they're not focusing on health and where health comes from. So go ahead and go to the next slide, Holly. So now enter a new discussion, nutrigenomics. Well, what is nutrigenomics? It's the study of how nutrients interact with your genes and how individual genetic differences can affect your requirements and how you respond to vitamins, minerals, and compounds in the foods we eat. Now, why is that important? Because if you have taken any of our activators, whether it started with Protandim NRF2, and then a few years later included Protandim NRF1, and then a couple years later now includes Protandim NAD, which we now have the Tri-Synergizer. You have all an individual experience, I hope, of how you feel when you take these things, how your body responds. But you've probably also heard other people that took the same products and either had, 1, a more profound experience than you, or 2, had no experience at all. They're like, well, I didn't feel anything. And now they're saying, well, I don't think this product works. Well, the answer to that and the reasoning for that is in that first sentence, and I'll read it again. Nutrigenomics is the study of how nutrients interact with your genes and how individual genetic differences can affect your requirement on how you respond to vitamins, minerals, and compounds in the foods that we eat. So even though triggering NRF2 in me and Holly and Margie and Sarah and Tara, however you pronounce that properly, is the same, we may have a very different experience because we may have a very different genetic potential because our cellular health may be different. We may be one of us more closer to the health paradigm, the other more closer to the disease paradigm. Some of us may be in disease, some of us may be full, triathletes, whatever the case. The same activation can have a very different response in every person. But if you think about it, so do medications, because if you watch commercials on TV for a certain medication, how do you know what the side effects are? Well, keep listening until the end after they're done flying kites on the beach and sitting in cool tubs and everything looks great visually because they want to give you the visual demonstration of what life could be on this medication. But then at the end, talking very, very fast is all the things. Side effects may include death, bloody diarrhea, hijacking a train, whatever the case. And I don't want to get comical on this, but it's the reality is everybody with a disease can take the same medication in the same dose and have very different responses because their genes are different. So it's where on the health spectrum is the person when the intervention begins. It's the same with nutrigenomics as pharmacogenomics with one exception. And it's a very, very big exception. One is approaching health. The other is treating disease to make symptoms less and make them more tolerable. We just have to ask the question. So to complete this, nutrigenomics, I'll go back one real quick, Holly. Nutrigenomics is one of the most exciting, revolutionary, and cutting-edge fields of nutrition, genetics, and modern medicine, but modern medicine is not entering this discussion. DIYers, the people that are taking responsibility for their own health. In other words, you and your prospects and your future leaders are the ones that are literally taking responsibility for their own health with nutrigenomics, which is why Google is not investing in nutrigenomics. It's why Apple and Genentech and Jeff Bezos are not investing in nutrigenomics because there's no profit in it, because the end result is healthy people that don't need medications, and they don't need medications. They don't buy them. When they don't buy them, nobody makes money, except now that they may be investing. Here's the real secret. I wonder how much stock in Whole Foods and Sprouts supermarket chains Jeff Bezos owns. I guarantee you he owns some, because he's going to make profit off the other people that are focusing on optimizing their health. And that's the entire focus of LifeVantage. So nutrigenomics is our playground. Go ahead and go to the next slide, Holly. So, and this is how we do it. This is where we, as LifeVantage, as a company, as a movement, as a global movement, this is where we enter. One, the nutrition. What is the molecule that triggers the cell? What is the cell signal that is related, that is created by the nutrient, and what is the gene activation accordingly? So we start with an ingredient, we start with a product, causes a cellular response. That cellular response activates the genes, and the activating of the genes is your benefit. Now, here is something that you need to grasp this. In medication, the medication is the benefit. In nutrigenomics, the gene activation is the benefit. So think of it this way. The prescription is the benefit in pharmacogenomics. Your body's response to the products you take is the benefit of nutrigenomics. So pharmacogenomics, the benefits in the bottle, nutrigenomics, the benefits in your body, but it has to be triggered first. That's really the key difference. And you may have heard that discussion between what's the difference between supplements and activators. In supplements, the benefits in the bottle, just like pharmaceuticals. So if it's vitamin D and you're deficient in vitamin D, said by your doctor, you don't get enough sunlight or you don't eat good, nutritious foods that have vitamin D. If your goal is to be more sufficient in vitamin D and you take 1,000 milligrams, that may be a great start, but 10,000 or units, 10,000 international units or IU of vitamin D is better than 1,000 IU. It's 10 more is better in supplementation, but in activation, more is not necessary. I'm going to say that again because it's important you grasp this. That's why one tablet of Protandim is wonderful for a 120-pound person, a 100-pound person, or a 400-pound person. It's not dose specific because it just takes one Protandim NRF2 2 capsules of NRF1, 2 capsules of NAD to turn on that switch. And once it's on, you can't turn it more on. So if you take more NAD, more NRF1, or more NRF2 at the same time, you're just wasting the additional dose. Take it again 12 hours later, and you can have 2 cycles in the same 24 hours, but you can only activate genes to, it has what's called an amplitude. Once it's on, it's on. Like turn a light bulb on, once it's on, unless it has a dimmer on it. The dimmer is the supplement version. The on-off switch is the activation. The whole thing here is about gene activation, which is the benefit of nutrigenomics, but it's created by your body. So go ahead, next slide, Holly. So we're going to focus on 3 things, and then I'm going to give you guys a cool surprise at the end, but we're going to focus on nutrigenomics, which are activators. I'm also going to share with you in our products, generally speaking, the essential vitamins and mineral supplements, which we do have. We do have supplements and additional nutritional ports, or we call them supplements plus. This is the languaging of the scientific advisory board or the team of our product development people. So nutrigenomics, what is it? What is cellular signaling? It's a molecule, whether that be, and whether that little yellow square thing or rectangle thing you see going into that blue receptor, that's NAD, that's NRF1, that's NRF2, take your pick, they all work the same. It's the signaling molecule or the nutrient or the product, in this case, our Protandim products. Hits the receptor, triggers something, that green thing on the inside, and you don't even need to know the names of them, which is why you don't see them here. It's just the concept. The product that we take triggers the receptor. It causes a response inside your cell, goes to the nucleus of your cell, and activates your gene. So here's the cool thing. You don't need to know the names of the key players. You don't need to know about KEEP1 and NRF2 or NRF1 or NAD and what happens with the gene translocation, what happens with mRNA, what happens with the DNA. You don't need to know any of that. Just know this. People that do know all that stuff, think of it this way. The people in the white lab coats that are looking through microscopes that are really, really smart, when they see our products, they go, holy crap, this is awesome. So just know that the people that know go, holy crap, this is awesome. So let them geek out on it. You don't have to know the language. You don't even have to know what NRF1, NRF2, NAD, what any of them mean. Just know our products work. They make people's genes work better, and as a result, they feel better, look better, and perform better. That's really the depth of the knowledge you need to have, unless you want to, because most people out there that you talk to who are prospects don't know, don't care, and if you tell them something they don't know or never heard of before, they automatically feel stupid. How do I know? Because I see it all the time. You see the glazed eyes turn over when you're talking scientific, and they're like, really don't know what you're talking about. So don't try to make people junior scientists or understand. Just know that the people who are the real scientists that look through the microscopes, wear the white lab coat, stay at Holiday Inn Express, and play doctors on TV, they look at this and go, holy crap, this stuff is awesome. And I'm being serious at that. So what are these nutrigenomics? It's the nutrients, those ingredients that you see there, from milk thistle down to lychee. You may look at it and go, well, there's more than 5, and there's only 5 in Protandim NRF2. You'd be right. But we have international formulation. So some of those ingredients, if you don't recognize them, it's not in the US formulation. It's probably in one of the European or Asian or other market formulations, because we have 10 ingredients that we choose from, but only 5 go into the average NRF2 formula. What's the switch? It's the NRF2 pathway. What's the benefit? Turning on antioxidant and detoxification pathways. So if you've ever heard somebody say, I took NRF2 and I just feel lethargic, I feel achy, I didn't feel good, I felt kind of nauseous, that's a good thing. That's the detox. The body trying to detox is exactly what you want it to do, and helping people understand. Again, you don't have to be junior scientists or diagnose all their complaints or their symptoms that they're having. Just know that the body always does what it's supposed to do when given the opportunity to do that, and that's what the benefits are. So just sit back and watch it happen. Go ahead and turn them over to your amazing leaders with Holly and Brian. Let them help answer the questions. We have the FAQ. Every one of our products has an FAQ. Look there. Now our NRF1. What are the nutrients? The 5 ingredients that you see there. What's the switch? The NRF1 pathway. What's the benefit? Turning on cellular energy. Get this, guys and gals. Most people go to a doctor because of symptoms that are related to some part of their body running out of energy. And when it runs out of energy, it doesn't work right. And when it doesn't work right, it starts to cause symptoms, whether it's the kidney, it's the liver, the bladder, the heart, the lungs, the skin, whatever it is, it's because it's losing the energy to do the job it needed to do. And as a result, it starts to have symptoms. So how can we change that? Doesn't matter how big whether you have a large or a venti or a trenta at Starbucks and how many shots of espresso are in it. It's fake energy and it wears off. You don't need stimulation energy. You need cellular energy, and that doesn't come from caffeine, and it doesn't come from Starbucks or any other coffee option. It comes only from your body's cells making more mitochondria. Mitochondria is the real energy your cells need. And when the cells have more mitochondria, the mitochondria produces more ATP, which is literally the energy, and the cells start working again. And those organs that are made up by the cells start working again. The symptoms just start miraculously going away because you're giving them the cells they need to do the job that you need, not the temporary artificial stimulation of caffeine. So this is not a blood supply energy equation. It is a cellular energy equation. And the only way you can do that is with mitochondria by the nutrients that you see there. So go ahead and go to next slide, Holly. And so when we're talking about NAD, in my opinion, this is probably our most amazing discovery product. And I'm going to give you kind of a historical perspective. If you guys know, if you've ever heard of the term heard of the name Dr. Joe McCord, who invented SOD in 1969 as a grad student at university and literally began the entire conversation of free radical biology, which is what we now know. A few years later, almost 30 years later, in 1997, he received this really incredible, prestigious award called the Elliott Crescent Medal. It was by the Benjamin Franklin Foundation. In fact, 1997 was the last year they issued that medal because in 1998, they changed the name of it. It's now called the Benjamin Franklin Award. So in 1997, Joe McCord, considered the scientist in the world with the most profound discovery of what we call free radical biology, gets the Elliott Crescent Medal Award. So in 2016, if you guys have ever seen the original 9-minute version of the ABC Primetime, there was a guy with a white lab coat with glasses from the University of California, Irvine. His name is Dr. Douglas Wallace. And I encourage you, if you haven't seen the 9-minute version, go watch it. He's talking about mice living 50% longer and what could that mean to a human being if we live that much longer. That guy, Dr. Douglas Wallace, in 2016, won the modern day equivalent of the Elliott Crescent Medal called the Benjamin Franklin Award for, guess what? The discovery and the research, not the discovery, but the research into mitochondrial DNA. We have a product that deals with mitochondrial DNA called Protandim NRF1. So two most prestigious awards that relate to: one, our Protandim NRF2. Thank you, Dr. Joe McCord. Two, our Protandim NRF1. Thank you, Dr. Douglas Wallace. These guys are researchers in this product. Now it brings you to current with NAD. In 2016, the Nobel Prize in Medicine was issued to Dr. Yoshinori Oshumi from Japan for his discovery of what? Or his study of what? It's called autophagy. If you've ever heard of keto, if you've ever heard of intermittent fasting, it's all about autophagy. What is autophagy? When you deprive your cells of calories because you're, one, eating proteins and fats and very little carbohydrates, called intermittent, or it's a very specific controlled diet, which we call keto, where you're eating in a very narrow window of 4 to 6 to 8 hours. And those other hours, you're not eating anything. You're depriving your body of calories. Your body still needs carbohydrates. Every chemical reaction in your body needs a carbohydrate. Where does carbohydrates come from? From the foods that we eat. Well, if you're not eating any food with carbohydrate, your body still needs it. It has to get it from somewhere. Breaks down your fat. So interesting approach of when you eat proteins and fats and limit your carbohydrates, you tend to lose weight. Why? Because your body needs to get the carbohydrates from somewhere. It breaks down fat to make carbohydrates. We lose weight. Everything's great. We call it keto. Or if we eat in a certain narrow window, intermittent fasting, time restricted eating, whatever you want to call it, it's all based on autophagy. What happens? Sirtuins are increased. Sirtuins eat the byproducts of the cellular debris to get the carbohydrates from the junk inside your cells. When you eat the junk inside your cells, the cells just the byproduct is you lose weight and your cells perform better, both positives. So positive, so influential in human health that the people at the Nobel Prize in Medicine thought it was so worthy that they gave it the Life Sciences Award in 2016. Now, why do I tell you that? Because the award was issued for the discovery of autophagy before our product hit market. This product right now, the Protandim NAD, came out in 2019. It's the first time we capitalized on a massive understanding of what people already have, rather than trying to convince them on the importance of NRF2 and NRF1 where they don't really understand it. NAD people understand. Big people, those people with the white lab coats looking through microscopes that are really powerful, important, and work at universities like MIT and Harvard and have names like Dr. David Sinclair, who write books like Life Science or Lifespan. That is why NAD is so powerful. So we are the first company to product, or first company with a product to market that, get this, increases the sirtuin activity by 100% inside your cells in just 24 hours. Are we the only product on the market? No, we are not. Are we the first product to market? No, we are not. But are we the only product to market that can say in human beings with our blend that you see there of nutrients, there's only 4 of them: wasabi, olive leaf extract, cuprous, niacin, which is a combination of copper and niacin together, and theacrine. It's the only product tested on humans. Holly alluded to this study that shows a 100% increase in sirtuins in 24 hours in every human being that takes it. Why is that important? It's kind of like keto and intermittent fasting without starving your body, getting on a diet you can't do long-term anyway, and that you hate yourself and people around you that do. And you're watching somebody on a Facebook post who's losing all this weight and you guys are doing the same things, but you're cheating and they're not. And now it creates stress and it creates chaos and it creates anxiety, and you unfriend that person on Facebook because they had better results than you. I see it all the time. I hear about it all the time, because doing something that's stressful long-term, or depriving yourselves of calories when other people around you, especially like yesterday, when you're the parent at the Easter egg hunt and your kids are eating Peeps and the parents are eating Peeps, and you want to have a Peep or a chocolate covered egg or a Cadbury egg, and you're like, nope, I can't. It's carbohydrates. I'm in my eating window, or I can't eat it. And you're thinking, okay, how am I going to go eat a half of an avocado or some lentils or some almonds when I want a freaking Cadbury egg? That's the stress I'm talking about. And I just need to be real with you guys. Our Protandim NAD does what their keto doesn't and their intermittent fasting doesn't. It goes right to the benefit. Now look at that last column, turning on cellular waste removal, which is that autophagy. So noteworthy to the 2016 Nobel Prize in Medicine, improves mental focus and concentration. So while they may be enduring that Cadbury egg and eating the Peep, and so are their kids, their brain is turning to fog, the cells are turning to mush, and now they're going to be guilty. They're going to go, okay, well, they're not going to post their cheat on Facebook. They're just going to post their weight difference, when you can just be real and go whatever route you choose for the best possible outcome. Take NAD and eat a freaking Cadbury egg once in a while. Take a Protandim NAD and eat something that you want once in a while, because the entire approach, the collective, is to flip the switch, feel better, do more by activating your DNA in a very, very sustainable way. We also look at how sustainable our product ingredients are. Where do we get them? We get them from wild crafting sources, and we do that globally because the products work. So now let's talk about some essential vitamins and minerals, these supplements that we do have, and we do have them. Go ahead, next slide, Holly. So obviously NAD, amazing. We take our Protandim NAD, Protandim NRF2, Protandim NRF1, our Tri-Synergizer. We take those activators, put them in hair care. We take those activators, put them in skin care. We take those activators, put them in personal care, body care, amazing things. Those are our activators. Now let's talk about the vitamins and the minerals. Did you guys know that Daily Wellness actually has vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc, essential vitamins and minerals? Why are they so powerful right now? Because if you look at some of the people that are trying to avoid all these viruses around the world and stay healthy by priming their immune system, what are the 3 most key ingredients? Vitamin C, vitamin D, and zinc. And we have amazing products with amazing ingredients like that. Our Axio, our vitamin B, our DMAE, the quercetin gets into your brain, literally affects brain chemistry. So these essential vitamins and minerals have the ability to change your neurochemistry, literally change the neurotransmitters, which is the chemical language that your brain speaks. And when it speaks optimally, it controls your body optimally. Then we have Omega Plus. There are literally tens of thousands of research studies out there talking about the benefits of omega fatty acids. And then our NAD, which cleaning up the cells is very important, so that when the cells work better and you now have the essential vitamins and minerals, you have a massive combination. So it's the vitamins and minerals working with the activators. Because think about this conceptually. If somebody is taking our Tri-Synergizer and they're having okay results, but not like you've seen before, maybe they're deficient in certain vitamins and minerals. So maybe add on Daily Wellness and start giving their immune system a better shot, so that now being activated and having a better functioning immune system is going to lead to a higher caliber of life for that person. Or have them drink Axio so that their brain chemistry is changing while they're activating, because activating is not a replacement or other things. It's not a vitamin supplement mineral replacement. It is a supplement that works better when your cells have the vitamin and minerals supplement support so that they can activate with higher efficiency. Go ahead, next slide, Holly. So now additional nutritional supports, the supplements plus, as we call it. So our omegas, our probio, because this is something really key, guys. I don't know about you and whether you're intimidated by the prices of organic fruits and vegetables, or that's just the price you pay, knowing you're getting better nutrition than with nutrient depleted, pesticide rich produce that looks maybe the same, but you can't afford the organic. Think about this way, and let me take a little pressure off of you. And maybe you like free range chicken and grass fed and finished beef over the other kind that seems to be cheaper. Before you worry about this being a financial equation, think of it this way. It's not, and I repeat, it's not what you eat that matters. It's what you absorb that matters. So you can literally eat all the organic fruits and vegetables you want, free range chicken, wonderful quality protein. You don't even have to eat animal protein. Maybe you're looking at plant-based protein. There's wonderful sources of plant-based protein out there. You can get the best of the best. But if you do not have what is called a microbiome, meaning your digestive system, if it doesn't have the bacteria it needs to break down that food into usable source that your cells can use, what you're really doing is creating expensive bowel movements and expensive urine, because it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. So think of it this way. If you have really crappy digestive capacity because you don't have the prebiotics and the probiotics and the postbiotics, in other words, those are all interesting interchangeable words for bacteria. If you don't have that proper bacteria in your intestines, it doesn't matter how good the quality of food you eat, it's not getting you anywhere nearer to health. So think about this. You have a wonderful functioning immune system. You have a wonderful functioning digestive system. You have all the prebiotic fiber that your probiotic bacteria is eating, and everybody's happy. It's like Whoville down there in your intestines. Everybody's all happy. And you now go through the drive-through at McDonald's and you get a Big Mac with a extra large fries, and you even throw in a McFlurry on top of it. After eating that meal and absorbing that meal, you are measurably and cellularly less healthy than before you drove through that drive-through. That's vision one. Now, vision two, you are eating fruits and vegetables that are organic, wonderful plant-based or animal-based protein that is superior quality, and you have inferior bacteria and no fiber in your intestinal tract. You are eating a very expensive meal. And at the end of that meal, you are nowhere nearer health. In fact, you may be even further away from health than you were before you ate the meal, because you're not absorbing it. So again, back to the philosophy, it's not what you eat that matters, it's what you absorb that matters, which is why we have a prebiotic. It's why we have a probiotic. It's why we have the fermented yeast in the daily wellness, which acts like a postbiotic, because what is the most important thing is how well your microbiome or your digestive system is working, so that the wonderful products that you take, the wonderful food that you eat, the vitamins, the supplements, the activators are all being absorbed properly. And that is why it is so critically important. It's our physique line. Whether you are eating our whey protein or you're using some other protein or whatever it is, it's not about losing weight. It's about being healthy, because you can eat healthy food and stay slim. You can eat unhealthy food and gain weight, but it's not, again, I'm going to reiterate with this. It's not what you eat that matters. It's what you absorb that matters. So if you are not taking our prebiotic and our probio and our daily wellness, I would highly encourage you to reevaluate your position on that and begin immediately with that. Okay, next slide. So now, third, I want to close with this. This is a really, really, really exciting chapter in the future of LifeVantage. And this is knowledge that I can share with you. This was not in the NDA, me being on the scientific advisory board, but go ahead, next slide, Holly. So we are creating third-party partnerships, and we just secured this one in December of last year, the Linus Pauling Institute. And if you don't know the name Linus Pauling, that's okay. Linus Pauling was probably the premier researcher on vitamin C and the benefits of having sufficient amounts of vitamin C. What's also one of the most prestigious it's one of the most prestigious research universities, because the Linus Pauling Institute is not one of those institutes that is studying pharmacology. or pharmaceuticals or pharmacogenomics. The Linus Pauling Institute is focusing its efforts on biohacking, on nutrigenomics, and improving human existence at the cellular level by looking at natural things. And we have a 5-year relationship established with them, which we secured last December. So they're going to be doing joint research with us. They're going to be responsible at helping us get proper sourcing in future products that are going to be coming out by not just talking to our own in-house board. We're going to be talking with people those smart people that wear white lab coats and look through microscopes every single day and look at our products and go, holy crap, these are amazing. These are the kind of people we're going to be partnering with to get, one, their guidance, two, they also have a better idea of where the future is going from research facility standpoints, because the best research is done at the teaching universities that are preparing these next wave of researchers to go out into the world and represent what they do. So we are incredibly honored to be part of this 5-year partnership with Linus Pauling Institute. There will be more to come. There will be more announcements as they unveil, but this is a next level strategy for LifeVantage to focus on in-house, yes, but also look outside on influential universities and influential movements to help us take what we already have, which we know the world is looking for. They literally just don't know where to get it. And I'm going to close with this thought, which I think is, I'm just going to call it poetic justice. If you look back to the Google, Apple, Genentech conglomerate, which we called Calico Labs, 0 products to market to date. Novartis, 0 products to market to date. Altos Labs, 0 products to market to date. LifeVantage, 3 activators to market, one since 2003, the other since 2016, the other since 2019, 3 products to market that actually provide what the Altos Labs, the Calico Labs is trying to do, but in a preventative way. So here's what I really kind of think about this. When Altos Labs or Calico Labs does in fact come out with a product, and they will, it's just a matter of time. What is going to happen? Because the biggest avoidance of advances in medicine from the people who are the consumers of the products is side effects. That's why they play it really fast at the end of commercials so that they can be somewhat deceptive. So you don't necessarily, and here's really the irony. If you look at these medications, sometimes the side effects, more often than not, the side effects are exactly what the drug was designed to prevent in the first place. So if you're taking a migraine headache drug, sometimes if you look closely, the side effect is migraines. Does that even make sense? Why is migraines the side effect of a drug that's supposed to stop migraines? Because it's chemical manipulation of your DNA, which is contrary to what your body's trying to do. Now, some people get rid of their headaches. Other people have no benefit. Other people get headaches from the medication. That's the spectrum. Remember back to what it said. It's where you are starting from. So here's what I think is the poetic justice. When Calico Labs comes out, Calico Labs, Google, Apple, Genentech conglomerate, when they come out with a product, people are going to use Google to look for natural alternatives to whatever they name that product. That, I think, is the poetic justice, because when they come out with the product, whatever the name is, there's going to be a massive population that look for natural alternatives to whatever it is. And because it's going to be a DNA activator pharmacology, guess where they're going to land when they look for natural alternatives? They're going to land at LFVN, because we're the only company in the space that has a single product to market, and we have 3. And we have a massive pharmaceutical quality research background to prove. So it's not just hearsay. It's not, well, my brother's neighbor's landscaper took our products and he has great results, so you are going to too. You don't have to go by that, because that jeopardizes relationships. What you can go by is the white lab coat people that are really smart, looking through microscopes and go, holy crap, this stuff is awesome. And they write about it, and it's called a research study. When we have 3 activators, nutrigenomic activators out there scientifically validated, it's a big deal. No one else has it. And when people look for natural alternatives to whatever Calico and Altos and Novartis do, and all the other pharmaceutical companies out there, they're going to land right here. My question to you, are you ready? Because I don't know if you're a Willy Wonka fan or not, but your ID number is your golden ticket. Whatever you do with it, whether you open your heart and open these and open this to share people about it, you either squander your golden ticket or you cash it in. And by cashing in, you're going to help people all over the world by, one, your willingness to share with what I hope you now know as a position that maybe I hope you have a much deeper belief in our pillar of products and why as a company we are putting our products out there. And it doesn't necessarily come down to the ingredients, but why do we pick our ingredients? Why do we pick the category of products that we pick? because they make a difference. And we have exclusivity to it, and no one else in our space is doing it, which makes us position number one. But I want to contend, and I want to share with you, that is a very lonely place, because there's no one out there competing with us, which made that, well, we have 100% market share, but with nobody competing with us, and Novartis and Altos Labs and Calico Labs having no products to market, there's no larger discussion. We own the discussion right now, and it's very small. When those key players enter the game with their pharmaceuticals, people don't want side effects. It's going to lead them all here. So I can't wait, in all honesty, for Calico Labs to come out with a couple products. I can't wait for Altos Labs to come out with a couple products. And I guarantee you the people that are on Jeff Bezos' payroll are high quality people, and it's only a matter of time. And when they do, yes, they benefit. God bless them. We live in a capitalistic society. They should make profit. But guess who else is going to benefit when they come out with products? We are, because we were here first. This is our game. We have no side effects to optimizing human health other than, well, I don't feel so good. It didn't work. And my Facebook post wasn't as glamorous as that person. So there's going to be people that were unfriended before being refriended. And they're going to be saying, what is that stuff you have? I'm sorry I unfriended you because your Facebook post had more likes and shares than mine. Tell me about that activation strategy you have. That's the company we are at LifeVantage. And that, again, your ID number, memorize it. If you don't know about it, memorize it. That's the serial number on your Willy Wonka golden ticket. It's revolutionary. You have the power within you to do it. Please open your hearts and mouths and ears and go out and save a population that is looking, because I would much rather have them end up in your business than in the pharmaceutical line buying something from Calico or Altos Labs. It's just going to manipulate their DNA. They're going to have less symptoms perhaps, but they're nowhere near wellness, because you can't get to wellness on that left side of that pathway. So again, put yourself back now at that crossroads. Which one are you going to choose? Make an educated decision and go, because the choices have consequences. So thank you, Holly. Please thank Brian for the invitation. Hopefully I gave you guys enough information to have a deeper understanding of who we are at LifeVantage, what we mean by our products, what our intentions are, and the global population that is just waiting for us to share.
Woo! Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm still trying to digest. I was taking a bunch of notes. Obviously, I'm glad that we recorded this, because I'm going to have to go back and re-review a couple of these things. But oh my gosh, if you found any value whatsoever in today's call, please just drop a 1 in the chat. Thank you again so much, Dondee, for all your time. I really do appreciate it. Again, I learned a few new things myself, actually, and I was reminded also of some things. And so, again, it's all in how we look at it. He talks about education, and that's what we're doing. The fact that we are number one and we are the first to it, it is lonely. When you talk to most people, have they heard of LifeVantage? No. Have they heard of Protandem? No. And then they look at you funny. They're like, right? Because you're talking about things that they haven't heard from. And like Dr. Dondee said, sometimes people feel, they don't want to feel like they don't know. They like to be, oh yeah, I know about that. Or, oh, I've heard about that. People like to be able to relate. And when you start sharing them about something new and different, right? They proceed with caution. They have that skepticism. They're like, what is this really about? I've never heard about it. Well, if it's so fantastic, why haven't I heard about it? Because we are so far ahead of the time that they don't know about it. But when they do, guess where they're going to be coming to? And you, like he said, have the opportunity to capitalize before everybody else. You just have to be willing to put your blinders on, not care what other people think and their opinions, know what you know, right? And know, like Dr. D said, like the guys in the lab coats, right? They think this crap is awesome. So understand that you know what they don't know. So it's not something that you should be backing down at when they're questioning you. You should be proud about the fact that you know more than they do. And this is your opportunity now to educate them. Let them understand the power of activation and nutrigenomics and the benefits that they can gain from being proactive in their health and looking at these products and understanding exactly how they're working. Like you said, you don't have to be a scientist. We have to break it down. Right? The company provides you videos. We provide you FAQs. They provide you with a website by being a distributor. There's so many resources available to you. You don't have to be a Dr. Dondee. There is only one Dr. Nettles. Let's just be honest, right? But again, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say to you. The conversation is so small right now because some of you, and myself included when I got started, just may be hesitant to talk about something that maybe you just don't feel like you're an expert on. Or maybe you're not a doctor, you're not a scientist, you don't know, but that's okay. You just need to have that belief and the power behind all the science and the money that has been spent leading up to the technology that you now have your hands in, and let all of that be your validation. Let that be your resume, right? You don't need to go back to school on this stuff. Let that be your tools in your tool belt to educate people, to get them on board, so that when they do hear and someone says, hey, have you ever heard of such and such? You can be like, oh yeah, I've been taking that stuff for 5 years. And they're like, what do you mean? Why didn't you tell me about it? Right? So have that posture, have that confidence. I hope that your belief was built through this process. I know we did go a little bit longer than we meant to, but I know we had some technical difficulties as far as sharing the information as well. Again, this will be, I will send out the replay within the next 24 hours. You will get the link so that you can go ahead and watch it as many times as you want, or more importantly, share it. If you have other distributors or people on your team that maybe, through the last couple years have maybe withdrawn, or they've gone under a rock, or, closed that door of the cave, and they're wanting to slowly pop their head out, but they're not ready yet, take advantage of that. Reach back out to them, help build their belief back as to why they got excited in the first place, why they chose to join in the first place. Remind them of what it is that we have in our hands. So I'm seeing all kinds of great comments. Thank you, Dondee. Lots of amazing information. Awesome 111s all over the place. Awesome job. Incredible presentation. So yes, again, thank you so much. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts, but guys, I'm glad.
Yeah, it was an honor. And I did want to answer a question from the comments. Amanda and Nate asked, why is it different with Pet Tandem? And it really is no different at all, other than, and this may surprise you, but the most unhealthy pets that we have, or that are owned by people, the more unhealthy animals eat what their owners are eating. The most healthy animals are eating dog food. Like a dog who eats dog food, even crappy dog food is better than good human food for a dog. And the same thing with cats. So and this is the thing, in the wild, I'm just going to really kind of take a quick detour and come back. In the wild, whether it be a wild dog in Australia, which we call a dingo, or a coyote, which we have all over the place here in Arizona, which are wild, all they drink is water, and all they eat is the food that they eat. They catch it. They don't have to, and there is no such thing as an organic rabbit. The rabbits that are out in, like, I'm looking at 3 rabbits across the street in my neighbor's front yard. The coyote that maybe eat that rabbit is eating grass, not some food put out by Farmer John. It is eating natural things. The natural food, when it eats natural food, and then the coyote comes and preys upon that rabbit, it's natural food. You don't see obesity, you don't see cancer, you don't see diabetes, you don't see heart disease in wild animals. You only see them in captive animals, because they eat what humans eat, or they eat on a time regimen. My dog and my cat eat every morning at 5 a.m. If they would still be asleep at 5 a.m. if they were in the wild, and they'd eat whenever they caught what they were chasing. So, but we'd have never fed our animals human food, and they've never drank anything other than water. In fact, human beings are the only species of animals that choose to drink something other than water, and we flavor it and we call it all kinds of cool things, and we eat things that are not normally on our palate. But why do I give you all that background? Because dogs and cats can take can take Pet Tandem too, if you crush it up and put it in their food, like a quarter tablet for your average house cat. It doesn't matter that it's called Pet Tandem for dogs. The same kind of principle will apply. But if you give it to them, they will benefit from them. And dogs and cats have no placebo. They will not tell you, well, I just don't feel this working. You can see it working. You can watch their behavior differences. You can watch how attentive and how well they move around. But dogs and cats that don't benefit as much as others probably have a nutritional deficiency, because they're probably eating human food, or they're not eating good quality food, and they're probably drinking other things. Cats don't drink milk when they're not kittens anymore. Putting down a saucer of milk for your cat is not beneficial for your cat. And plus, cats never drink cow's milk. They only drink cat milk, and they stop drinking it when they're kittens. So don't think cats love milk. They love it because you put it down there, but they would never normally drink it. And I don't want to break any cultural norms or habits that people do in their homes. But great question, Amanda and Nate. Why is Pet Tandem different? It's really no different. It works exactly the same way. You can see results in animals quicker than you can with humans, because Animals they don't second guess it. They don't overthink it. And they don't look at Facebook posts and compare their results to someone else's. Animals just simply have the results they have. You can see it in real time. But the healthier your animals are, meaning how closely they are to their ancestors, they drink water, they eat good, nutritious foods, they're going to be better off with our pet tandem. And yes, you can use it in cats, crush up a quarter of it and put it in their wet food, because they don't usually like to treat it. It doesn't work as a treat the same way it does with dogs. But hopefully that helped answer your questions, Amanda. Nate, thank you for bringing that out, because I get that question all the time, but not nearly as much as I would like to.
Okay. And then she do have a follow-up question. So we had kind of talked about the difference between activation and supplements. More isn't not necessary when it comes to activation. So, again, 100-pound person versus a 400-pound person, they're still only taking one per tandem. Any thoughts or reasonings behind why you think we give pet tandem based off of weight then versus just a standard, if your pet is this many pounds over, this is what they take, right? Just one across the board.
Great question, because the interesting thing about pet tandem, which is not the case with our Pro Tandem NRF2, NRF1, or NAD, pet tandem is an activator supplement combination, whereas our Pro Tandem products are not supplement combinations. So why do I tell you that? Because there's cartilage, there's bacon flavoring, there's other things in the pet tandem for the coat, for the joints, which are not including in our Pro Tandem product. So it is a combination supplement and activator, but even breaking it into 1/4 of a tablet, there is enough of the NRF2 ingredients in there to trigger NRF2, as well as give the other ancillary benefits from the other ingredients that come in pet tandem, which is different than our Pro Tandem. Our human product Pro Tandem products are just activators. There's no supplement ingredients in it. The pet tandem product has supplement ingredients in it as well. So it's acting as both.
Awesome. Oh, Amanda's showing her heart. I love it. Awesome.
Awesome. Great question, guys.
Yeah. Again, thank you so much again for your time. I'm sure we could honestly spend hours, and maybe we schedule a different time that maybe we set up and we don't record and just let people kind of just throw questions at you, which I know you.
That'd be awesome.
I know I was just going to say, I knew that would light you up. Right. But thank you again so much. I appreciate each of you for being able to join us in the middle of the afternoon on a Monday. I have had people been texting me the whole time. Is it going to be on replay because they're at work or what have you? And we'll make sure that gets out to you. But thank you again, Dr. Dondee, Nettles. Tell Marcy that I said hello, and have you guys a fantastic, wonderful, productive week.
Awesome. Thanks to you guys. Go Team Legacy. You guys are awesome. You have wonderful leadership, and I appreciate and respect and admire all of you. Thank you so much for getting on today. Hope you got value out of it. Can't wait to see you guys at Activate 2022. And if I don't see you there, hope to see you at convention here in Phoenix. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you, Holly and Brian. Love you guys.
Appreciate it. Love you too. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.